Hey guys, I'm Kelsey and welcome back. Today I'm actually back with another CF video, and I know it's been, I'm trying to adjust what I'm sitting on, which is ironically my vest, but that's a whole nother video. Back with another CF video, which it's been quite a while actually since I've done one. I honestly think the last one I did was the only one I've done. That's a high possibility. Ooh, I'm fired. Anyways, if you or anyone you know have CF, then you've probably heard of this new drug called Trikafta. It came out the end of last year and it's mind-blowingly life-altering for us CFers. It is a long story. It's really not, but I just wanted to talk about, in this video, CF genes and how they work, and Trikafta as a whole. So I'm going to start with just CF genes and kind of the basics. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but just so you know kind of how it works, so then the rest of my story makes sense. Because I have a story to tell today, so that's fun. So how it works is every person, actually, everyone has two CF genes. A person with CF has two genes that malfunction. Simple as that. And they malfunction in the sense that they process salt wrong. And that causes the mucus in our lungs to become very thick and sticky, and just like to clog up all our lungs and pancreas and other organs and make life kind of really difficult. To put it as simply as I personally understand it, and for all I know I'm wrong, I don't think I am, but the way I understand it is the two genes, they process salt wrong, and the reason it's so hard to cure CF is because there are thousands of different mutations that cause the gene to process salt wrong. So they all process salt wrong differently. So even though the visual symptoms, so extra sweaty and salty, which is kind of gross, I know, and I'm so sorry, thick mucus, trouble digesting food, all of these symptoms are almost identical on the outside. The genes themselves, the cell at a cellular level, are doing things wrong differently, which is why it's hard to kind of attack it and make it do things right. So there is one gene mutation that is super common amongst most CFers. Over or around 88% of people with CF have the delta F508 gene. The only reason I remember that, because could never remember that, and my mom was like, think of it like a Delta flight. Delta flight 508. It's kind of weird, but it works. But 88% of CFers have this mutation, which is why for so long they've been trying to kind of fight this mutation. Like I said, the struggle with CF is that there's so many mutations and they all have to be attacked differently that you're left with a lot of people kind of falling through the cracks. So there's still 12% of CFers who for sure won't be affected by this new drug, because this drug specifically targets the delta F508 gene. If you don't have that gene, this drug is not going to work for you. And even if you have that gene, this drug might not work for you, which sucks, but it still is a huge difference. And I actually talked to my doctor about this, but because we now have that for this 88%, they're focusing really, really hard on the 12% who can't benefit from this, which is really awesome. So I'm going to start off by saying, yes, I do have the delta F508 gene. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but I'll get to that in a moment. This is what Trikafta looks like in a box. I started it today, actually. I took my first dose this morning and my second dose a couple hours ago. I'm really excited and really nervous, because if this works, it'll be amazing, you know? In theory, it's not going to cure CF. There's no doubt about that, but it will almost lessen it in a sense that it goes in and it'll tell my cells how to process the salt a little bit better. So they won't be magically cured and they'll be like, oh, now we know how to process salt. But it'll do it a little bit better than before, which is awesome considering how poorly they do it now. But apparently the first week or so, week to 2 weeks, can be really sucky in the sense that you get really kind of full of mucus and just kind of feel meh. So I'm not really looking forward to that, but in theory after that, it'll be great. Inside each of these boxes is 4 wallets, so 1 per week. It comes with morning and evening tablets. So in the morning you take 2 orange tablets that consist of 3 drugs that make up the Trikafta, which is, how do you pronounce these? Elexacafactor, totally pronounced that wrong. Tezacaftor. I think I pronounced that one right. And ivacaftor. I definitely pronounced that right. The morning 2 tablets, they all look like this. So the little orange tablets here are consisted of those 3 drugs, whereas the evening one, which you take at night, is one little blue one, and it consists only of ivacaftor. Now on to the story time portion of our little video here. So back in December, which it wasn't that long ago, I flew home on December 5th. I flew back to Seattle to start winter break December 5th, and I saw my doctor for the first time December 9th. So of course, in the appointment, I was like, all right, tell me I can't take this new drug because I'm part of this 12% that doesn't have this thing. Because I'm always, I'm always a little bit weirder than we think. I'm always a little bit more rare, or something's more wrong, or I'm on the slightly weirder side, which is fine. I've come to terms with that. Simple as that. And my doctor, she's looking through my chart, and she's looking at the notes in my chart, and she's like, yeah, okay, the 2 genes listed in the notes in your chart aren't the delta F508. And I was like, darn, I figured, oh well, now what? I bet you're really confused at this point. So she's going through my chart, which it's, in theory, it's only the most recent and or most important stuff, because if we take into the fact that I was diagnosed with this at 10 months old and I am 23, I have about 25 or so phone books worth of charts. If you were to actually have it all, there's a lot of information. But she's flipping through the papers she has in front of her, and she stops on this kind of fairly poorly photocopied paper of my original genealogy study from 2012 that I did with Johns Hopkins. And she's looking at it. And on the paper are the 2 genes listed. And the 3rd gene listed is the delta F508. Now, if you go to the CF Foundation's website, cff.org, and it says CF genetics, the basics, every person has 2 copies of the cystic fibrosis transmembrane conductance regulator gene, the CFTR gene. A person must inherit 2 copies of the CFTR gene that contain mutations, 1 copy from each parent, to have cystic fibrosis. So I asked my doctor, was it common to have 3 genes? And she said no. What she didn't tell me was that if I Googled it, the only thing on the internet that I can find thus far that has any information about a person with 3 CF mutations was a thesis paper published in 1991. I can't find anything else thus far. And maybe I just have looked in the wrong places, maybe I'm Googling the wrong thing, but she didn't inform me that it was as rare as it was. I had no idea that, no one has 3 CF mutations. Okay, sorry about that. I don't remember exactly where I left off because my camera stopped recording because it was full. But I fixed that, so now I can continue recording. Yeah, what was I saying? It's really rare to have 3 genes, I guess. And I'd really like to know if there's anyone that also has 3 genes or has information that I don't have, because I definitely don't have all of the information that's out there on this. Or if I got anything wrong, please, please, please let me know down in the comments below, or tweet me or whatever, because I would love to know more about this if you have more to tell me, because I don't know a lot, and I was reading the abstract for the paper I found, and it was very specific about the genes. It wasn't, from what I could tell, it wasn't about having 3 genes, it was about the 3 genes, so I'm really curious to know if there's anyone else out there. I mean, I'm sure there are, but you know what I mean? If there's anyone who happens to see this that has 3 CF mutations, I'd love to hear from you. So, I'm currently recording this on my phone because my camera kept saying the card was full, even though there's nothing on it. I don't know what's happening, so I'm just finishing this off with my phone, so sorry that the quality just dropped suddenly. All I had left to say was, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed what you saw, make sure to leave me a like down below. If you have any information that you can provide to me, that'd be great. Comment below, tweet me, message me on Instagram, anything. I'm super curious to hear if you have anything to say about anything I said. And if you're new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe, and that'll be it from me. Thanks for watching. I'll see y'all in the next one. Later, nerds.